Hi, so here is a video on customizing LEAP invoices. So there's a couple things that you're going to want to check first. Before you do anything at all, actually I'm going to close my face so you can see the settings here. You're going to want to go to your settings and then not firm details on the main menu, but under application settings, there's also a firm details, and I will show you where that is as soon as it loads. Right here, firm details, you're going to want to make sure that nothing is set here. No logo uploaded, no custom header, no anything like that. These will actually override the word precedents for invoices, and it will just automatically print directly as a PDF in your browser. So you want to make sure that all of these things are completely off, just unchecked, nothing uploaded. If you did upload one before, just hit the X to delete it and then hit save. In this case, there's nothing there to save, but that's your first step. The second thing you're going to do is under accounting layout, you are going to create whatever sort of layout that you want your invoice to appear as. So here's kind of what they call the standard layout, which has one section for time and fee entries, and one section for all your expense recoveries, essentially. You can edit these by checking off what you want in each item, and then in this case, I'm just going to leave this one as is, and you can also, by just clicking on it, have more options here for which columns appear. So I believe by default it's description, cost. We're going to put amount. We're not going to have tax here because it's going to be in the summary at the bottom, but you can turn it on. So descriptions, cost, amount, excluding tax. You can put whatever columns you actually want it to include. There's quite a few options. And I'm going to save that, and I'm going to go under here, and I'm going to put on descriptions, disbursement amount excluding tax, and it should be fine. We'll leave it and see what it looks like, but you can play around with it. I would not recommend playing around with the actual default one, but you can create a new one and kind of go from scratch. And then if you like it, you can right click. Oh, not right click. You can click on it and then check off whether that one's the default one. And then whether or not it includes a feed summary, which you usually want. But for example, if you wanted a separate section where you have your time and fee entries, your disbursements, and then anticipated expenses as like a third item, you could add extra sections, or you could have your, just one section for everything. It's completely up to you. So that's how you set, when we go to the invoice, you'll notice the invoice prints a table. This is what sets your table formatting, essentially. So that's step 2. Step 1, making sure there's nothing under your firm details. Step 2, choosing what you want your table layout to look like under invoice layout. And step 3 is going to be editing your word precedent. So I'm just going to accept that. If you go to details and correspondence, forms and precedents, and under practice management accounting, you will see there are a lot of different invoice templates. There is a whole bunch for province. There is just one regular one called invoice with trust statement. So I've already edited this one to look pretty. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to edit invoice with trust statement. If you're worried that you might accidentally mess it up, you have two options. One, you can always see the history of changes and revert to an old version. The other option is that you can duplicate a precedent or duplicate and rename and edit the duplicated version so that you always have the original one. In this case, I'm just going to edit it directly. But you could always, duplicate it, rename it with your firm's name or however you want to call it, and then edit it from there. I'm just going to give it a minute to load. I'm just going to pause it while it loads. Okay, so this is what this one looks like by default. It's alright, it's kind of basic. It has a little placeholder for the invoice sections. That's the table that's going to appear. I'll print a test one so you can see what that looks like. But otherwise, fairly simple. What I am going to do is I am going to put in my header, put in my footer, and then update the formatting, like with my colors and stuff. For example, I'll change the color of that line and change the color of the table. So, because I already have my header from somewhere else, I'm just copying and pasting the components. You might want to be more particular about the alignment. Because I'm pretty much just doing this really quickly to show you, I'm not paying that close of attention. I'm just kind of dragging them so they look good, but if you have an actual like header and footer that you like, you might want to change it. In this case, you know, it has the date printed, it has the invoice number that's auto-populating. If you wanted a footer that has your firm's information in here, you can. Like your regular footer, it's totally up to you. There, you can also choose under header and footer whether you want a different header for separate page, like the first page versus the second and onward. You know, all the usual Word formatting. So that's the first thing, is you can put your header and footer in there. You can see there's merge fields. So in this case, it's got my firm's contact details. Because I don't have them in right now, I was just between them. They're not in there, but actually, just for the sake of showing you, I'm going to go back to my settings and my firm details, and I'm going to put them in so you can see what that looks like to update them. So. This is not my actual address, but you get the idea. We'll put my email. I don't have like a law society number or anything else because I'm not a lawyer, but that's good enough for now. So when I go back in here, I'm just going to hit update. And now you can see I have my firm details in here, and I can see what that looks like. You can change the font. You can change anything else. You can insert. This is not really a tutorial on like too much advanced precedents, but you can insert any kind of fields that you want. For example, I have due date here already, but if I want a due date somewhere else, I can put in due date. You can also toggle the fields so you can see where all the field inputs are, all the merge fields. What else can you do? You can see that a lot of the formatting is done by tables, so you can also adjust the tables, adjust the formatting, however you want to make it look pretty. You can completely do. Just don't touch this invoice sections. The other thing I'm going to do is that border here, I'm going to change. You can do that just by highlighting somewhere and right-clicking, depending on what you need to do to get the formatting up. And I'm going to hit the border, and I already set the border, which is why it's defaulting to my color. But you just go to borders and shading, choose your color. In this case, I used my brand's hex code. I put it in here. That's just by going color and then more colors. If you happen to know it, if you don't, you can always reach out to me to help. There's the width, anything that you want to do, and now it's going to update that border, that line as a border. For invoice sections, you can see, because this is the trust account statement, has it down here, it's kind of an ugly blue. So I'm going to go to table design. Okay, maybe it's not an ugly blue, but it's not my blue. And then up here, we have one called the Leap Word Build Table Style. I'm going to right click it and hit Modify Table Styles. And you can modify all sorts of things about it, but in particular, the header row is that thing that's blue. And I don't want it that color, I want it my color. So I'm just going to go paste my hex code here, hit enter, and now the table, when it fills in here, is going to be that nicer color, and I'm just going to manually do it For this one, in fact, I can just choose, maybe I'll do it manually, choose that color. So basically do whatever it is that you want to do to make it pretty. You could also, if there was additional trust information you wanted to include as kind of fields, right here you can see there's RPT deposit as a field, there's the RPT balance, so there's the trust balance, trust deposits, withdrawals, descriptions, etc., transfers table. It's a repeating section. So again, that's a bit more advanced, but if you wanted something at the end that was like a summary, you could say like total paid, total protected, total before tax adjustments, trust apply, like kind of whatever you wanted to put in there as a field. You can put extra fields in there if you want. But I think it looks pretty good. I like everything about it. I mean, you can also, change the font. Maybe I don't want, whatever this is, Arial, I want Calibri. That'll change it in here. If you want it to change throughout, if you just where is it? There is design, there is you can save as a new style, this document. There's different places that you can update style, but anyway, for now, I think here we go, styles, normal, and then you can apply styles. You can kind of style. There's different things you can do if you want it, to be pretty. But for now, this is looking good, looking what I want. So of course, what you're going to want to do is save and close. It's going to ask you reason for change. I'm just going to say chops branding. Hit OK. It's going to save and close. And then now you can go in and you can print an invoice. So this matter doesn't have any trust activity on it. So I'm going to open a new matter just to show you what that will look like. So I've got a draft invoice here, I guess I can print. And then when I hit print, you can kind of choose which one you want. I believe I did invoice with trust statement, was the one I just updated. But I mean, you can update and print whichever ones you want. And now it is really pretty. It's got my case, my disbursements with the columns, description, cost, tax. One thing to note is if you have to create new invoices after you change the formatting. Once you create an invoice, it's going to have the columns from the old layout. So this was the layout before, and I removed the tax column. So what I will want to do is delete the invoice. Again, just create a new invoice. And now it will have done it based on the change settings. So if you create an invoice, then you change the layout, you'll need to delete the invoice and then create it again for the new layout to take place. If that makes sense. So now I have my invoice with trust statement. And you can see the tax column is removed. What I like to do, just so it's like nice, is, I mean, I was just playing around, so I'm always changing it. But if you have the same number of columns, or if you have the same columns for each one, then they're going to line up nicely. Like if I have description and disbursements toggled on your case, even though disbursements will be kind of 0 for the time and fee entries, it just looks nicer, right? And then costs and amount. But that's completely optional. Anyway, then you can see here it has the trust statement on the second page. So hopefully that is everything you've ever wanted to know about creating invoices. I just want to show you what one looks like that's not pretty, or what a default one looks like. I don't want to say it's not pretty, maybe just what the default version looks like. It's not going to have my branding or my header. It's going to have the blue. It's not bad. It's just not customized and branded and